Seasons, December 1963. Oh, what a night. It's BBC Radio Oxford. A very good afternoon. I'm Kat Olman. Now, my next guest is Ash Stocker. Now, Ash is a world champion in MMA. That's mixed martial arts. He's bringing his art and passion and indeed his expertise to Oxford with his professional martial arts school based in Summertown. Its aim is to bring families together, enabling parents and indeed children to train together and spend more quality time with each other. Ash joins me now. Ash, welcome.
Hi there.
I think you are the first world champion that I have ever had in the studio. So I'm slightly in awe, actually, I have to say. Can you just explain what MMA is, mixed martial arts?
Yeah, sure. MMA is really just as it sounds, a mixture of martial arts from all different styles.
So we're talking judo.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
karate.
So, striking forms of martial arts such as kickboxing, Thai boxing, a little bit of karate in there as well. To your more sort of grappling orientated martial arts such as wrestling, judo, and specifically Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well.
Mm. So all these, even individually, they test certain sort of different things like strength and endurance and things like that. But
yeah,
you've got
definitely.
to have, obviously, you've got to be very fit, but you've got to have a lot of strength, a lot of endurance, and I guess sort of a lot of sort of mental aptitude to be able to cope across the board with those types of martial arts.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely a very physical game, a physical sport. The training that I went through was tough, was really tough. But also I think that the higher you get in the competition circuit, really, the less it becomes about your physical abilities and actually the mental side of it takes over then.
I can imagine that. Right, well, let's go back to your childhood.
Sure.
Do you know what? I had to ask around the office this morning as to what that thing was that you wore when you were doing sort of judo and karate, and apparently it's a gi. So
A gi, yeah.
How old were you when you first put on your gi?
Well, actually, I started quite late martial arts. I didn't start until I was about 18, 19.
That is late, isn't it?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 24 now. 24, yeah. So I've been doing it for about 6 years now. But very quickly, I picked up the sport and went from training sort of a couple of times a week to eventually train a couple of times a day. 5 to 6 days a week and competing sort of pretty much every weekend, really.
So what was it then at 18 years old that you sort of made you decide that you were going to take out martial arts? I mean, why hadn't you done it before?
I think confidence. Confidence was probably the biggest thing.
Well,
for
confidence
me.
that you wouldn't be any good at it, or
I think I was lacking in confidence a lot. There was a time when I 18, 19 was quite a difficult time for me. Like most sort of guys and girls who reach that age. You
didn't have a focus.
No, that's right. You're open to a lot of peer pressure, and also, unfortunately, I suffered with a bit of bullying as well. I was bullied at work when I was sort of 18, 19. So that was my main reason for getting into martial arts. I made the decision really to go into martial arts just for fitness and confidence. But then from there it kind of evolved and became a lot more than just that. I definitely got the confidence from it, and so much more as well.
Without going into too much detail, of course, about your bullying at work. Did that come from a higher level at work, or was that from a sort of a similar level up here?
Yeah, it was a bit of both, really. A bit of sort of my manager, my boss, if you like, and colleagues as well.
So before you actually took up the art of martial arts, how did you cope with that bullying?
It was tough. It was really difficult. It got to the stage where I really didn't enjoy work. I didn't want to go in. But once I started martial arts, it completely changed for me. My focus was there. My confidence just started to build. Eventually, until the point where I decided that actually that wasn't the job that I wanted to do anymore, and I moved on to.
But leading up to enrolling on a martial arts course, did you talk to anybody about the bullying? I mean, before you had martial arts in your life, were you open to your friends and your family about what was going on?
Not really.
At work?
No, not really. I think it was something that I was perhaps a little bit ashamed of, and I guess I didn't really know what to say.
The only person that
to.
has to be ashamed is the bully.
That's
not,
right.
not
That's
the
right.
victim.
Yeah. But at the time, it's you that feels, you're the one that feels sort of very insecure. You don't really know who to talk to, really, who to reach out for.
So you signed up for martial arts. That has changed your life.
That's right. Yeah.
So is there a certain minimum age if you're going to do MMA?
Not really. No, we take on kids from as young as 4 and 5, as long as they're old enough and mature enough to sort of snap to attention when we need them to, and
attention,
and to listen enough. Listen for long enough while Mr. Stocker's talking.
Are you quite bossy? Are you quite strict and quite
I am strict. I am firm, but I also like to have fun as well. You've got to have the right balance for the kids to respect you.
I was going to say
and to look up to you.
That must be a big thing. Respect.
Yeah, definitely so.
It's a really good discipline.
Yeah. To keep them their respect for you. You have to be firm. You have to be consistent. But at the same time, you've got to be fun as well because they've got to enjoy it.
In all this, have you found a respect for yourself? I mean, with everything that's happened to you and you being bullied at work, have you found that respect for yourself by doing
I think
martial arts?
massively so. Yeah. I've come on leaps and bounds over the years, from that, and I think martial arts has just completely transformed my life. And
I was going to say that.
Yeah. So. And then going on to competing at such a high level.
We're going to talk about that next. We're going to talk about your competing and being world champion, crowned world champion. We will also talk about what you are bringing to Oxford. You've recently opened your martial arts school here in Summertown. And I think this is a lovely sentiment because what you're actually trying to do, in all this, give children a skill, but also bring families together, bring parents and children training together and bringing back that quality time between a parent and a child, which I think really is a lovely thing, as well as the life skill. So we'll talk more about that with my guest in the studio. He is Ash Stocker. He is an MMA world champion, and we'll talk to him about getting that achievement, that crown, if you like, after this from Paul McCartney and Wings. Silly Love Songs. It's BBC Radio Oxford. Paul McCartney and Wings and Silly Love Songs. It's BBC Radio Oxford. A very good afternoon. My guest in the studio, well, he is no less a world champion, probably the first world champion I have ever had in the studio. Ash Stocker. Now, we've talked about your sort of, not so much your beginnings, but that how you got into martial arts, because you're the MMA, Mixed Martial Arts World Champion. So you were quite late in taking up the arts. You were 18 years old. You joined a martial arts school, gone on the course. When was it really apparent that you're actually quite good at this? I
think quite quickly, really, to answer your question there, Kat. Within the first few months, I was just hooked, absolutely hooked, on martial arts. And then within the first 6 months, I think it was, I was offered a place to join the squad and start training with the team. And very quickly after that, I sort of earned my place, if you like,
Things have been very fast
in the team. Yeah. So
what is it that makes somebody really, really good at martial arts? I mean, is this sort of a talent that you just have, or is this something that you really can learn?
No, I think it's something that you definitely learn. I found it, when I started to compete, it was really difficult for me.
But you wanted it. You really wanted this. In your life.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't just break onto the circuit and start winning all the competitions and stuff like that. I suffered defeat after defeat in competitions and just kept plugging away. I think persistence and being hungry enough to want to learn and to grow and to develop is the key there, really.
Do the knocks make you stronger?
They can do. I think it depends on your personality. I think you decide. Some people will quit at the first hurdle, whereas others, will put their head down and really look at themselves and what they can do to improve and to grow and to move forwards.
All right, let's talk about your competitions, you're competing, and when you got over those knocks, you got back up again, and you started winning, you started lifting that trophy. Just talk us through that. How did you get to be world champion?
Yeah, sure. I think my first British title was a big one for me. I think that right there was a confidence boost. Self-belief. I think that gave me.
So this was a competition in the UK, obviously. Whereabouts was it?
This was in Birmingham, so most of the competitions are held in the Midlands, although I've travelled all over the UK to compete, as well as going out to Europe eventually as well. After my first British title, I did suffer with a pretty serious injury, actually. I tore one of my discs in my spine. Which
wow.
was,
so that potentially could have been a completely career-changing thing.
Yeah, it could have been the end for me. At the time, I was told, that I'd be facing surgery and quite possibly the end of the career, and that basically I should look for something else to do.
But you didn't.
I didn't. No. I decided that I wasn't going to let it beat me.
Did you have the surgery though?
I didn't go for the surgery. It took me 8 months of rehabilitation to get back to sort of a basic fitness, really, and then another few months after that to get back to what I would call sort of competition fitness.
So how did you then get back to fitness, and then indeed get back to competition fitness? And get back mentally, mentally where you left off.
Yeah. It was definitely a big thing mentally. It was probably actually looking back one of my biggest blessings, because it gave me the time to focus on myself, focus on my psychology, focus on the core basics as well of my training, as well as my teaching too. I took that time to really focus on how I could pass on my knowledge, but also as a result of that, that helped me to look deeper into the martial arts itself. And
what was it like then when you actually got that world title?
It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. Scary as well, because all of a sudden your dreams are realized. So it was amazing, but at the same time scary to think, well, what's next?
Well, exactly. What is next?
Yeah.
So how long have you actually held the world title?
So I won the World Championships in November last year. So it's been a few months now. In terms of what is next for me, I think definitely focusing on passing on my knowledge, passing on my experience to the next generation, really. Not necessarily just to make world champions, but more so to help youngsters become actually world champions in life. How they can develop themselves.
Are you going to defend your world title?
I don't think so. So
competition is perhaps over now?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say over completely. I think I'll return to it, and I'll do it for more enjoyment purposes rather than to actually stay at the top of the game. I think during the process of the rehabilitation of my injury, I realised that competing was one thing, but it doesn't go on forever. It doesn't last forever. And I think if you want true fulfillment, you need to find a way to contribute. And I think teaching is my legacy, if you like. That's what I'm going to.
You're only 24 years old. What a head you've got on your shoulders. Well, you're hearing from my guest this afternoon. He is Ash Stocker. He is, as you've been hearing, a world champion in MMA. We're going to talk about what he is bringing to Oxford. In fact, he's opened his professional martial arts school here in Summertown, in Oxford. He's bringing not only his expertise, his knowledge, but he's bringing his passion, and he's getting families to think about the basics again, spending quality time together with parent and child, training together. We'll return to our conversation after this.
BBC Radio Oxford. In BBC Radio Oxford.
Radio for Oxfordshire.
You're hearing from my guest this afternoon. He is Ash Stocker. He is a world champion. I'm just going to keep saying that because I just love the fact that I've got a world champion here in the studio this afternoon, Ash. So MMA world champion, mixed martial arts. Now, we've spoken about your journey, your ups, your downs, your highs, your lows, your world champion and getting that last November. Let's talk about what you're bringing to Oxford now, because you're passionate and you're bringing that passion, that expertise, and you've opened, in fact, your martial art, your professional martial arts school.
Yeah.
That's a big decision to even make in the first place, let alone actually put it into practice.
Yeah. I think I've been teaching now for the past I'd say 4 years or so, and recently running an academy for my my previous instructor. So it's natural for me. I think it's a natural progression, and one that I'm really looking forward to. It's just such a blessing to be able to pass on, what I know to the kids and to see them grow as well.
Well, there's no doubt that they will under your expert guidance, I have to say. So, they're getting confidence, they're learning a new skill when they learn from you. But what are you going to get out of it, Ash? What do you get out of the teaching?
For me, it truly does fulfill me. It truly does fulfill me to see the kids growing. You take them on from 5 years old, and their concentration isn't quite there, and there's all kinds of things that they could improve on, such as confidence and focus and stuff like that. To then see them go through the belts and see them develop and work alongside the parents as well. That's a very important part of what I do. In terms of running a successful school, because without the parents' help, you don't know what's going on outside of your classes.
Well, I love what you're doing here, because, like I mentioned before, what you're doing is you're encouraging the children and the parents to train together, which is enabling them to spend more quality time together, and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that. I think that is a lovely sort of thing behind your motivations of bringing the school here to Summertown. It's not just about, as you said before, creating world champions.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We're quite unique in what we do in terms of giving parents the opportunity to train alongside their loved ones. And to really build and to grow and to develop as a team, as a family unit, is a special thing to be able to provide there. And like you say, it's not just about creating world champions in the sport. It's about creating world champions in life. So, if they can leave my tuition, being better and more developed in any area of their life, then I've succeeded as far as I'm concerned.
I think we sometimes forget actually how much of an all-round life skill a martial art is.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just about self-defense. It's about, it is a confidence booster.
Sure. There's so many life lessons that you can take from martial arts. Whether it's just as simple as being fit and active, or something along the lines of confidence and focus.
I think anything that encourages children to be fit and active in this day and age, when we have got all this child obesity,
that's right.
Then I think is a wonderful thing, and you're doing it. So I salute you, Ash Stocker. I think you're doing a marvellous thing. Good luck with the school. Sure. And how can people find out a little bit more about the school, and if they want to enrol, what's the whole procedure?
There's lots of ways you can find out about us. Obviously, you can look online. The website is tigerma.co.uk, or you can simply call us on 01865 362 995.
Okay, well, we will have that telephone number if anybody wants to get in touch and get that telephone number. But once again, the website is tigerma.
Yes, that's it. tigerma.co.uk. Or you can come along to the open day as well. We're holding an open day this Sunday from 12 until 2 at the North Oxford Association in Summertown. And
no minimum age, 4 or 5, you were saying?
I would say around 3, 4, 5 would be the minimum. Bring them along to the open day. It'll be a chance for the families to see the academy, meet myself, the instructor, and also try out some free classes. And that way I can assess and see if the children are ready. If not, it's just simply come back in 6 months, and I'm sure they would have matured by then.
If they are ready, gis and things like that, everything that you need, is it expensive?
Not expensive at all. We do a basic course, which is sort of a very low commitment in terms of price wise, so that way you can see if it's something that they're going to stick to, and then move forwards from there.
Wonderful, Ash. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. That's Ash Stocker from Tiger Martial Arts School. It's brand new. It's in Summertown.